Big Blue Thumb Productions presents the Podlie Podcast. Here's your hosts, Podlie Bill, Podlie Cliff, and Podlie Paul.
And hello, everybody. Guess what? It's episode 180 of the Podlie Podcast.
180 hours. Oh my God, that's a lot of hours.
That is a lot of hours.
Hello, Nicole.
Nicole wins 3,500 points.
3,500 points.
Yeah. Your first one in, very first comment of the night, Nicole.
So it's 35 and a whole bunch of zeros.
And as you can see, there's only two of us.
There's just the two of us.
Yes.
Okay, Podlie has gone into incognito mode.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, if you're familiar with Chrome on this thing right here on your phone, you can go into incognito mode. And what Podlie has done is he's gone into incognito mode. He's sitting here, you just can't see him.
Yeah, he's invisible. He's got the cloak of invisibility on.
The cloak of invisibility, that's right. He's got that little shroud that they have in Lord of the Rings. That takes on the shape of everything, and in this case, took on the shape of the Podlie Podcast.
Yes, and William Kirkland is here.
Mr. William.
2,500 for you, Mr. William, on this Monday evening. So, without Paul tonight, just Cliff and I. So, Paul, how's your, Paul? Look at how I mix this. Cliff, you're Cliff. So, Cliff, how was...
That's me.
How was the week? We weren't here last week, of course, because some of us were not in town.
Yeah. I don't know why that's an excuse. I don't get it. Nonetheless, we weren't here last week. And Paulie's not here this week. It's been a busy time for work. I've had some evening stuffs on the go. And it's shooting sports, and when we do sports, of course, most of that is in the evening,
of course,
and weekends. So evening and weekend. So my last weekend, I think, was it last weekend? Must have been last weekend. It's all melding together now. But I worked all of Saturday and worked all of Sunday. Wow.
Yeah.
So that doesn't happen very often. Thank goodness. I'm very lucky that way. It doesn't happen very often. But nonetheless, when it does happen, it certainly cuts in, right? It happens. So I worked Saturday and Sunday, full entire days, and then of course Monday comes along very, 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 very fast. How about you?
Busy. Just quickly, hello, William Seltzer. He's with us.
William S.
Well, well, of course, I was in Ottawa. Last week, so I had to fly out on the Sunday and was there for 3 very busy. Got in Sunday night into Ottawa and was there.
You didn't put your name in for the leadership, did you?
But no, I didn't.
Oh.
Was there for 3 very busy days of work and play, and flew back on the Thursday.
Nice.
We had a good time, lots of fun, and good to be hanging out with everybody. And we had a brand new building. That's why we were there. Our company owner bought a brand new building in Ottawa, and it was finally all ready for us to come see it. So it was a big grand opening. So that's why we were there to see the big new space and the new office space. And it was really, really cool. A nice place to see. And didn't see, when you're there, there's no time. You're not there to see Ottawa.
Yeah, you're not there to see Ottawa.
So, and I've been to Ottawa before, but it's just, I think the most of Ottawa I saw was on the Wednesday night. They took us to a pub/pool hall. And they had a room, so we went to the pub. We had our own back room and all its pool tables, so we got to play a whole bunch of pool and drink a bunch of beer, of course, and eat some food. And but the way there, what I'm saying was about half an hour from where our hotel was. So that was the most I really saw a lot of Ottawa.
Yeah, Ottawa. Yeah. So you didn't stop in and shake hands with the Prime Minister and stuff like that?
I did not.
No. Go and chat with Freeland and say, hey, listen.
No.
What are we going to do about the financial statement in Canada?
No.
No, you didn't. Okay.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because it would be really nice to sit down with a cup of coffee with her and say, listen, we're all in this boat together. Well, it's kind of, sort of, you're not because you're rich, but some of us are in this boat together. I wonder what can we do about this, right? I mean, it would be great to sit there and have a conversation with her, but nonetheless, you didn't do that.
No, I did not.
Unbelievable.
No.
A missed opportunity, Bill.
And I do have to say the area that this pub and pool hall in was kind of neat, though. There was a building that kind of looked like a castle as we drove into this street.
Sweet.
So it was like for lack of better terms, I guess, like a White Avenue in Edmonton.
Oh, nice.
So
like an arts district.
Yeah, it
type
had all
thing.
these neat kind of little pubs and bars. And
Sweet.
It was kind of a neat little district.
I've never been to Ottawa, but anybody that I ever talked to who's been to Ottawa and actually did the touring around says it's a beautiful city.
Yeah, we really like it. Chai and I went about 3 years ago when Chai actually had to go speak, was asked to come and speak in the legislative government building. So that was our first four.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
that was nice because we did have some time to
Yeah.
kind of go around and see things in between. So it is a nice city. I have to
Yeah,
give
it's a
it that.
beautiful city. I've heard it really is truly, and I'd love to go there. But then I would take the opportunity, to sit down with you and discuss. And
Well, next time I'll remember to make that appointment.
well, I'm sure she wants my opinion.
Well, I'm sure she does.
I'm positive
Yeah.
that if she knew I was coming there, she would message me and say, "Cliff, let's sit down for a little chat about the economy."
I'm absolutely sure that she would want that.
I think that's what I personally that I mean, that's my thought, and I think it's a good thought.
Yeah, well, I got nothing wrong against it. You're more than welcome to.
Maybe what I'd like to do is I'd like to sit down with Podlie and Trudeau. Just sit down and have a
the
little
same room.
Have a little confab, a coffee.
Maybe go to that pool hall,
Maybe go to
play some pool, and have that
play
chat.
some pool.
Keep it more relaxed.
Winner takes all,
That's including position.
including winner takes all.
Wow. Well, hey, yeah, it's good to see you have a few people here tonight. I don't, I don't see Laura on here. I see people joining in, not a lot of comments, but
There's some people joining in. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, are joining in here with us tonight, which is good. And it's interesting. It's been a long time since I think just the two of us have done it.
That's right.
And as Nicole said, good song. Just the two of us.
Just the two. You can make. That's a great song.
It is
Way back then, Grover Washington Jr. What a handle, right? I mean, I talk about William James Kirkland and his handle. What about Grover Washington Jr.? I'd like to grow up with a handle like that. That's pretty good. Assuming that's his real name, I don't know, but
yeah,
I mean,
it is still kind of a good name for sure.
Yeah.
So while people are joining in, we didn't. So because we were here last week and we had a topic in place, and of course the week before we did our live show.
And
thank you for those of you that came out to Manual.
that was so much fun. I really enjoyed
and
that.
hung out with us that was an hour and a half. Nicole's telling us apparently Laura made it to another tier in her karaoke competition.
Karaoke comp. Oh, good for her. Congratulations, Laura. Even though you won't see this, congratulations, Laura. Congratulations, Laura.
But you know what I have to say to that? They do have displays of those karaoke bars, so they could have us on over here.
Exactly.
While she's doing her karaoke.
I don't know what. I really don't know what the problem is. If there was any commitment or dedication involved, I mean, she has a phone.
You have that.
Obviously,
device.
they have televisions there because they're reading the lyrics off the television.
They've got to be doing it somehow.
And Laura is probably well practiced and well rehearsed. She doesn't need the lyrics.
Yeah.
So while she was singing, she could have the podcast on.
She could be watching us, and I promise we won't actually cut in. And, like if she has the lyrics scrolling, we won't just cut in and
We won't
be
just-
right there and cut away from
Correct.
her.
I mean, we
song.
might do some harmony vocals with her.
We could, depending on what she's singing, of course.
We'll do a desk scan. If I could turn back time. If I could turn.
Yeah.
And then it's 1, 2, 3. Saturday.
Nicole didn't even have to ask. That was so much fun. Yeah, it was fun, Nicole. It was great to have you there. And
I love that live broadcast. I had a lot of fun with that live broadcast, even though it was, off the cuff and live and sort of, pretty random. It was pretty live and random, but it was a good podcast. It was fun. It was great to have some people out. Great to banter with people. Great to have some drinks.
Yeah.
The beer certainly was great.
it was good.
So yeah, all good. That was fun. Which kind of sort of leads us to some questions that we're going to ask you guys. We have more people on here that are actually commenting, but some of the regulars, of course, we're going to chat with you a little bit and see what have a little confab, as they say.
And Nicole says that girl, being Laura, is constantly karaokeing, even on Saturday.
Even on Saturday.
Notice how we jumped on that before, Nicole? We're one step ahead of you now.
I was thinking, Bill and I could get on here, and because Paulie's not here, and of course how much he likes Saturday, we'll just get on here, and for the whole hour, we'll go 1, 2, 3, Saturday. We'll just keep doing that.
Why not?
And then we'll make Paulie watch it. We'll tie him down to the damn chair and say, "Listen, buddy, you weren't there on Monday. Now you have to pay the price, and the price is you got to listen to this."
And hello, Jeremy. You're done putting the kids to bed.
Jeremy, dude, how come? Normally you guys are putting at this time.
Yeah.
Did you give him something a little extra? Nice to see you, Jer.
Yeah, good to see you here. And by the way, Nicole, that wasn't our planned topic to
That's
just
right.
say Saturday every 5
Yeah,
minutes.
but I mean, it's a good
But
thought.
It's a
though.
good thought. A good thought.
It's about as good a thought as me sitting down with Paulie Trudeau in the same room playing pool.
Yes. Jeremy says, I think they must be broken.
Maybe it's the summer air, Jeremy. Maybe
Yeah.
it's the summer air.
They're tired right out.
Oh, and Andrea's here too.
Oh, apparently Julia did not nap at daycare today. Well, there you go.
Oh, well, that might do it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I didn't nap today either. So
So give it about half an hour. Give it about half an hour. Bill will be like,
yeah. Are we still on?
"Are we still on? Are we there yet?"
Yeah, are we there yet? So anyway, so Cliff, yeah, as you said, we kind of had a different idea for a topic. So Cliff and I have discussed this off air on a few occasions over the past little while. About the podcast, and we have asked you this question. Some questions about the podcast on previous shows as well. Such things as show days. Like, is Monday still a good day? Like, we seem to have a lot of people now that are doing karaoke on Mondays.
Correct.
I know that Marvin does pool on Mondays, and so there's people doing things on Monday evenings now. And originally, I think the reason we chose Mondays was partially because a lot of people that we know in theater and everything.
Yeah, normally
Mondays is dark night.
Yeah, normally
no rehearsals
the rehearsal are on Tuesday and Thursdays and whatnot, and so we chose Monday being kind of the date that at the time we're talking about, including the people that chimed in.
Yeah.
Monday seemed to be the date of choice, and it was kind of good because after the weekend people go to work on Monday, and then Monday evening it's sort of a kickback with the beer or a glass of wine at 8 o'clock, and let the Podlies put you to sleep, so to speak. Is that a good thing? I don't know. I'm not sure if that's a good thing.
As long as you don't fall asleep during the show, like right after.
Yeah, right. Yeah, okay.
You can do whatever you want.
Okay, I'm glad you qualified that, Bill, because I was just not sure if that was a good thing or what.
Yeah, because I don't want to see that all of a sudden Jeremy's going in 5 minutes. Okay, I'm going to bed. So, but anyway, so we kind of discussed that. Then we made the decision to go to YouTube.
To YouTube,
And
that's
we
right.
left Facebook. So we went to YouTube thinking that because YouTube is always a good place to build subscribership and kind of...
And not only that, people can watch it on
And they
television.
can watch it on television as well, right? So we made that decision to go to YouTube. It was okay, I think, at the beginning for a little bit, but then it really wasn't building.
Yeah, we seriously lost
We did lose some people.
like a bunch of viewership that we had on Facebook.
Yeah.
That we had actually what do you call sort of generated during the pandemic.
Yes.
Because we were only audio, and then we moved to Facebook because of the pandemic, etc. And then so we got like 500 odd followers. We got five. I'll talk amongst myself. Hi guys, if you can hear me, I'm back. Bill's not back, but I can see he's back.
I'm back.
Never mind.
Hopefully-
Oh, Bill's back.
Hopefully we're back. We had a little technical issue there.
Can somebody just tell us if you see us and you hear us, please?
We have apparently Jeremy said he asked Alexa to play the Jeopardy theme song. A little technical glitch there with my
technical
laptop, but we're back.
Okay, so somebody tell us we're back.
Yeah, Nick, I think it looks.
Oh,
The Podlies break the YouTube.
oh, good. Okay, perfect. All right, so what happened, you guys, is that the laptop Bill broadcast this on, he plugged in the laptop, but forgot to plug in the other side of it into the outlet. And so we kind of lost a little bit of...
Well, someone gave us a battery warning, and before I had a chance to get over and
Boom.
plug it in, it knocked us right off.
That's right, Jeremy.
Yeah.
We be back, you be Beethoven.
So we are here for sure. But anyway, so as we were saying, good to see you, Leslie Ann, as well.
Lally.
So we kind of wanted. So we went to YouTube. That kind of worked making that decision. But as you said, we lost people because.
I just want to make one little point before you do that. So on Facebook, we got like 560 something followers. Okay.
Yeah.
And then we were on Facebook, and we used to get some pretty good viewership, and then
we decided to go to YouTube to build up the subscribership, and worked it a little bit, but then we lost some of our viewers because there are some viewers that only watch on Facebook.
Right?
They don't use YouTube. So then we made the decision, well, we can broadcast to both platforms.
To both platforms.
So we've done that. We broadcast to YouTube and Facebook now, and I can see that some of you are watching us on Facebook and some of you are watching us on YouTube. So I can see that in our side here, which is great, and that seemed to be good as well early on. Our viewership really jumped up for a bit, but like I said, now Monday nights seem to be a night that people are busy on. And I've noticed that I'm going to scroll back here because we missed some comments while we were off there for a second, because people were mentioning days already. Jeremy says Tuesdays are best for them. Leslie Ann says Tuesday.
Leslie Ann says Tuesday
As well.
No, Leslie Ann, no, that Tuesday doesn't work for Leslie Ann, just chorus. What do you mean?
Yeah, there you go.
I don't understand, Leslie Ann. Could you please clarify?
Nicole made the comment, I truly feel like Podlie is like SNL's Mike Myers coffee talk.
I've never seen that, but if you put me in the same sentence as Mike Myers, I'm a happy dude.
That's good, yeah. So anyway, we've still kind of tossing it out there anyway. Jeremy said it's always tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we threw that idea out,
right?
And we've kind of kept it on Mondays. But like I said, we've had a few people. Go ahead, scroll back further. Jeremy made a joke about Tuesday.
So Andrew says Jeremy made a joke about Tuesday. It's about Tuesday.
We're scrolling back here in the comments to have a look.
And Tuesday. So what we do is we choose the Tuesday, or we choose the Tuesday, or we choose the Tuesday.
Now I get. Oh no, on Tuesday, tomorrow would be the best day too.
Nope. Now I get it. I must have missed some thread because I don't get what Leslie's saying. I don't get what Jeremy's saying.
Yeah. I think they must have broke something that's after. Okay, so I'm not quite seeing that there. I've gone all the way back to the beginning. Definitely makes sense. What? You've never seen Coffee Talk? Was such a hoot on Saturdays. Nope. Leslie Ann says Monday's best for me. Jeremy and I were chatting amongst ourselves. Oh, that's what they're having their own conversation.
I was gonna say because Leslie's saying Tuesday. I'm like, that's not right.
Yeah.
She's busy on Tuesday.
Apparently, Jeremy's going to type the joke again. Andrea says, disregard Tuesday. We will do that. Okay.
Okay, Leslie, and you had me sort of concerned there. You're like, do it on Tuesday because I can't watch.
So anyway, we tossed that out, and it's still kind of out there because, like I said, there's a few viewers now that seem to have extra things or are very busy on Mondays. So, that's always a possibility as well. But I guess part of it is, as we've talked, Cliff, too, is what do we think that for us as the podcasters doing this now for 180 hours,
right?
Coming up, as I said, we're 20 hours away from
200.
My comment was tomorrow will always be the best day for me, Jeremy says. Any day that ends in Y is out because we have to put our kids to bed. But tomorrow. But anyway, we're just trying to figure it out because for us, we do this on Monday nights. Yes, we do miss some Monday nights because of our schedules for sure. But how do we build, we're not getting the subscribers that we thought we would get, I guess, is what we're saying.
So basically, that's later on the table, right? Here's the deal. 180 episodes in. I know we had COVID in there. I know we started one way, then we switched to both. I get all of that. Fact of the matter is we have like 567, whatever it is, Facebook followers. None of them if all of them watch, this would be a different podcast, right? So we don't know. So what Bill and I have been talking about is it something that we wish to continue? Now, keep in mind, we've asked everybody that we know, like, to share it and to bring family members on or friends on, whatever the case be. And I'm sure that some of you have tried for sure, obviously, and whatever. So there's a couple of questions that we kind of would love to throw out to you guys. Number one, obviously, the date. Is the date working? Should we change the date? Number two, is the format working? Should we change the format? Is the three of us just yapping about nothing interesting or not interesting? Should we have standard topics? Is that interesting or not interesting? Should we go down to two people, right? And which two people, I don't know, but should we go down to two people? Should we crash the whole thing? Is it worth trying to build something as generalized as this? Now, keep in mind, I'm saying all of this. Lesley described this podcast very well at the beginning. She said what she liked about it, and this is what I liked about it, was that it's basically three guys meeting for a beer. You know, sans the beer every now and then, but it's basically three dudes meeting for a beer. And what she said, if you add the chat in there, which we're doing now, what she described it as, think about three friends sitting at a bar and having a beer. And then, you know, Nicole comes, sits around, chats for a while, makes a little conversation, and then she goes away or gets quiet or goes talks to somebody else. And then, you know, Andrea shows up and she has a little bit of a banter with us. Meanwhile, the three of us sit there for the whole hour having our beer and talking about whatever.
Right.
And that's the way Lesley Ann described the podcast. And what's the podcast about? It's about everything and it's about nothing at the same time. So at that point, I personally thought of it that way, and I thought, gee, that's a really cool thing. I like it. If I had my druthers, I don't know what druther is, but if I had my druthers, I would. As a medical condition. But if I had my druthers, then I think it would be a cool thing to sit with three friends or two friends or five friends or six friends once a week, sit down for an hour and jibber jabber over some beer or coffee or whatever the case may be. The only difference is we're doing this on the airways and it's live.
Right.
So there you go. You know everything that I know about this podcast right now. And what we'd love to know about you guys is to be able to tell us, is it worth it? Number one. Is there something we can do to improve it? Number two. Is there something that we can do to build it? Number three. And I don't know. I mean, is the format good?
We have had the discussion of topics.
Right.
So we have asked, you know, you, our viewers, you know, what do you prefer? Do you prefer more serious topics? Do you prefer more comedy topics? And a lot of people are saying it's a mix.
Yeah. And I see one more thing, Bill, I need to add in there for you guys. The reason we're asking you this, you guys, because you folks have been here a lot. You've been here almost from the beginning. And you have treated us wonderfully. I tell you this every week, how much we appreciate you being here. And it's been fun. It's a nice little interaction that we have. So we thought that, hey, listen, you know what? It's Podlie's not here today. And we thought it would be a little bit more quiet, sort of a podcast that we can talk where we're actually having a discussion versus just kind of piling on things. And you guys, we figured that the core group of people would be here. And so what we thought was, you know, you guys have been so nice and so kind to be here and enjoy this podcast with us. We thought that you guys, your input would be important. So your input is important to us. And this is why we're throwing it to you.
Definitely, we want your input. I've scrolled back here. I know there's some new comments that have come in, but so Nicole says, okay, so I know that there are more holidays on Mondays and Fridays. However, to build viewership, I feel like setting the day, and we all keep sharing you guys and the Podlie podcast.
Sounds reasonable.
Andrea says, I think because it's spring, lots of extracurricular activities start up, and I think a lot of people are spending the evenings outside.
Yeah, no doubt about that. No doubt about that.
For sure. Nicole, again, if they build it, they'll come.
And she says yes.
Jeremy likes your description, which we all agree with for sure. Nicole says, does having more in-person sessions make a difference? That could be possible, Nicole. It's always a logistical thing. We have to make sure it's a space, obviously, that we have a good internet connection to make it work.
And I mean, obviously, we need a space that people are going to allow us to use.
That's right.
Number one. I mean, the manual labor was very interesting.
Yeah.
I would love to do something like that on a regular basis, but we don't know. They have their own business to run.
Yeah.
Right. Sure. So space would be an issue, and of course, it has to have a connection.
A good stable internet connection.
Stable internet connection. And the other thing, Nicole, I like to throw out there is that, you know, not everybody's going to get up out of their home and come to a live broadcast on a Monday night.
Yeah.
I mean, if we had a massive amount of viewership, we say, okay, well, if 25% of our viewership came out to the live broadcast, obviously they won't come out all the time, but a different 25%. A 25% that makes up a different set of people might come out. And so we get X number of people at every broadcast. But right now, I don't think our viewership is big enough.
Yeah, I agree. I think, like you said, if we had 125 people watching us every Monday night, 130, and they were coming out,
and 5, 6, 10 people show up every Monday, that's great. But I mean, Nicole, you can't come every Monday. Andrea certainly can't come every Monday. I mean, you might be able to come one.
Yeah.
Right? Jeremy certainly can't. William certainly can't. And I can go down the list, right? If William Seltzy is too lazy to drive 8 hours, I mean, if you had any commitment.
We'll just toss that in there.
Yeah, just chuck that in there, William.
Andrea says, I think keep it going. Do more cooking shows. Definitely could use different meal ideas for the kids.
Okay, I must admit, I really liked that show. That was fun.
Yeah, no, that was fun for sure. That was something completely different. Like we said, Cliff and I threw that together at the last minute, so it was a real quick. Nicole says, totally agree. However, now they have outdoor patio. Yeah, that's great as well. But again, we need that good internet connection. So that's what's important. If it was a patio that had, really good internet connection,
dude, that'd be awesome.
It would be great. And again, like Cliff said, as long as we know we're going to get a decent turnout as well, right?
Correct.
It's great for everybody that came out to manual labor. That was fantastic. But,
Yeah.
You still want to have a good turnout. If otherwise, if we're going to be there and there's only 2 people that have shown up,
yeah, it's not going to be as fun.
It's not as fun. You want that live interaction, right? Nicole says very fair. However, pre-pandemic, I was going out to the Bowl Diamonds with the hubs. So once upon a time, yeah.
Aha.
There you go. And more cooking shows. But anyway, we've got quite a few viewers on. So yeah, we just want to really keep this discussion going to kind of see what do you guys think? And again, our discussion here is, as Cliff has said, do we keep it going? Some of you have agreed to the description that Cliff had talked about, that Leslie Ann gave it, which I totally agree with.
That's a good
description. A lot of people seem to really like that idea. In that respect, we're not like some of the big podcasts out there where every night that they do the podcast, it's a specific, I don't know, I'm just going to throw it. It's technology.
It's technology.
So they're going to talk technology once a week, and that's what you're going to get on that podcast for that hour, and that's what it is.
And there's some merit to that, right? Because, I mean, I know podcasts like the, true crime. And if you're into true crime, then you're going to tune in every week. But in my mind, I thought it was great to be able to just sit down, unscripted, and have a conversation and see where the chat leads. And I like the spontaneity of being able to be, let's say somebody asks a question or somebody poses a thought, somebody just posits an idea. I love the idea of being caught up in that in the moment and being able to discuss it, even though I might not know anything about it. But then it's nice to ask the question and banter about it and so on and so on and so forth, right?
Yeah. And you're right. We've had some really good topics, both serious and comedy, on this show.
And I tell you what, the other day, Bill, no kidding, I listened to, I think it was episode 32. It was one that we were torturing Podlie. Like all in good fun, obviously. Man, it was so funny. I was laughing my ass off. And of course now I've had some detachment because who knows what that podcast was. God knows how long ago we did that. So I didn't remember any of it. But I put it on. I can't even remember why I did that. But I put it on YouTube while I was driving, and I was howling with laughter. I'm like, this is fun. This is a fun thing, right?
Yeah, no, for sure.
So Jeremy's got a long comment here, Bill. I don't know if he can.
Actually, before I do that, look at the clock.
Oh, wow, look at that. 30. Oh, man. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the middle of the podcast.
So Jeremy says, I like the curation of topics, or at least the attempts at curation. Before we kind of go on, so we have had, lots of shows where we start a topic within 20 minutes. We've gone
completely off the rails.
All of a sudden we've made a left turn and we've gone way over here from when we started way over here.
And in fairness, sometimes you've never had a topic, but then the topic presented itself.
Yeah.
And this is what I was saying earlier, right?
That comes a lot from our viewers, from you guys that are watching, right?
And I sort of love the idea of somebody just posing a question or a comment or posing an idea, and all of a sudden we'd go off on this tangent and discuss. That's one of the things that kind of juices me a little bit about it being open.
Jeremy says, one of my favorite things in the world is talking to Cliff. Never do I feel more seen them when Cliff and I are
More
talking.
seen, okay.
More seen when Cliff and I are talking. I don't get the opportunity to talk to Bill and Paul the way I do with Cliff. With that said, I'd love to see you guys talking to and torturing guests. Maybe not every week, but often. And it doesn't have to be any famous person, but maybe the garbage man, maybe the guy that walks the dog by you, that kind of thing.
You know what, Jeremy, we've actually discussed that, and we've talked. I actually talked to Bill about this even, about, we had this exact same discussion, Jeremy, and my theory was that we want to talk to the average Joe.
Yep.
And learn about that person's life, or average Jane, whatever, and learn about that person's life. I mean, talk to a plumber and find out what are the interesting things about his job. Maybe it's the travel. Maybe
keep his pipes clean.
How you keep his pipes clean. You know, maybe maybe it's the people that he meets. I mean, I was in field service for 7 or 8 years as an electrician, electronic repair person. And one of my favorite things, the reason I never progressed in that company is because it went from field service tech to bench service tech to office, blah, blah, blah. And I never wanted to leave the field.
Yeah.
Because I love the interaction.
Yeah.
So, but that's a normal guy story, right? And so Jeremy, I've actually broached this with Bill and talked about
that discussion. Yeah.
Talked about actually having just sort of regular people on there and figuring out what makes this person happy about their job or their life or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think it's fascinating.
Yeah, and I actually have a very good avenue for that, being that I'm a member of the Sherwood Park Chamber of Commerce.
Correct.
So I go to a networking breakfast every Thursday morning, and we have quite a few people in there that are either plumbers or they're electricians, or they all have different walks of life. They're not all huge people that own conglomerates with 700 employees. A lot of these people that come to this this networking breakfast are people with small businesses that are doing it, that they've started on their own or whatever, right?
And some of them are still backyard businesses.
Yeah, so actually, as we talk about this, there's a few people that I think off the top of my head, I think would be great just to come on and learn, not only just about what they do, but about their lives.
About their lives, yeah.
One of them is a gentleman who maybe I'll approach even on Thursday and see what his thoughts are, but he's originally from England. He's a plumber. So he's originally from England, but he's over here and started his own plumbing company, very small company. Yeah. And he's a real neat guy to talk to, and he's got he'd be fun to have on here.
See, and that's the thing, right? And I think, especially in today's day and age, and this is one of the reasons why I actually mentioned it. It's funny, Jeremy, that you're on the same page, because I never talked to you about this, but yet I've talked to Bill about this. And what I like about sort of the concept of that is that you get an idea of what normal people are like in their normal profession. And no celebrity culture worship, and I have nothing against celebrity worship. Whatever people want to do is fine with me. But I think a lot of times the people that you don't see on the street, I think some of these people are probably some of the most interesting people, right? And let's face it, we're going to get plumbers, but then you might also get somebody who has a very unique profession.
There are a lot of different professions out there.
So Jeremy, I'm definitely not opposed to that. It's a good idea. It's like I said, we've talked about it in the past. It's something that I've thought about. And we did that on Arts Talk when Bill and I did Arts Talk together. What did we do? We didn't interview rock star artists. There were no Van Goghs and Gustav Klimts there. No, they were all local artists and different artists. I mean, we had a leather artist on, we had acrylic painters, we had watercolor people. So in terms of that, I think that's a great idea, Jeremy.
And Andrea actually makes that comment. There are a lot of local artists out there that you could have a conversation with that would be great to give exposure to.
And frankly, Andrea, we did that. We did that on Arts Talk for a while, and we were doing it live. If you guys don't know, we were doing it at a cafe here in Sherwood Park, and it was going really well. I mean, for a time there, we were getting audiences of 50 and 60 and 75 people at that cafe, right? And it was really good. So the only issue I have with that is that there are a lot of shows about artists.
Yeah.
At least there were, a year ago. I don't know what they are like now, but there was a lot.
There's a lot out there, and but I do like the idea of talking to different people from different frames of work, right? whether they are an artist or whether they are,
Yeah.
like we said, a plumber you know, I'm just trying to think of all different professions that are, like I said,
And not
there's
just
some people that just, you know, they coach leadership.
leadership,
They
right?
you know, there's a couple of ladies that do that. You know, there's all different things that you could get on to.
I mean, everything. I don't care. You know, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy type thing. You know, I mean, all of those things. I mean, I know some designers that are currently still designing their own clothes, and they're not even making money at it. They're designing their own clothes and wearing them. You know, like this is fantastic, right?
We could have actually the volunteer coordinator for Ravenwood this year, Lindsay, she's got her own company. Well, she's a teacher, but she has her own side company called Multicolored Thumb, and she crochets all these really cool dresses and clothing, and it's really cool stuff that she makes. Right?
There's lots of people like that, right? Leslie bought a purse at Kaleidoscope in Edmonton, and she arranged for that person to have a booth at the Sweet Adelines contest this last weekend, and they loved it, right? Suzanne, Leslie arranged for Suzanne. She did all the legwork, and got Suzanne, the caricaturist, a gig at the Sweet Adelines contest again. And I'm sure both of those. I mean, I know the first lady said it was very lucrative.
Yeah.
So we have lots of artists in our community, but we've done that. We've talked to many artists. We've done that.
We have
right?
talked to a lot.
So I don't know. Like this Podlie podcast was supposed to be sort of. I mean, I'm not. I love the idea of talking to people, but it was supposed to be a discussion where people come and go. So anyway, this is that type of discussion, you guys. If we were sitting around a table right now having beers, this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is what the discussion would be. We'd be just chatting a bit.
This is what we're doing. Leslie Ann says, that reminds me, where the heck are your pottery crafts that you created?
Yeah.
Did we ever get those from
No.
Deb?
No.
Okay.
I would like to blame Deb, but I really can't because she told us about it.
Yeah, she did. She reminded us. We just haven't got those.
Can you scroll back? I think Jeremy had a couple more comments at the top there.
Let's see.
After the long one. Yeah, Nicole said good timekeeping.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Nicole.
Jeremy says, right, talk to people that are passionate about something. Man, I might know absolutely nothing about anything, but I love listening to people talk about what they are passionate about. Yeah, for sure, Jeremy.
For sure, man. Me too.
Yeah,
right?
no, I like that definitely as well, for sure. So yeah, I think that's something definitely we can look more at. Just grabbing some people from all walks of life and come on. Leslie Ann, I do have to ask you a question. So you got a new handbag. So in that handbag, is there any particular spot where you can keep your hydration?
It's a pretty big handbag, dude. I'm sure and it was sort of custom designed. So I'm thinking maybe there's a little side pocket.
It's got maybe some little side straw you pull or something, that nobody can really see, and then you can. Let me switch back here because Leslie Ann did say the purse lady Ann is almost sold out. She has a show next month and she's a bit panicked. She needs to create more stuff.
So that Sweet Adeline's gig for her turned out really well, and I'm sure it turned out really well for Suzanne too. I mean, that's a great gig that Leslie Ann got her. So
for sure, Jeremy says, I remember before meeting Andrea, I was out with Cliffy. We were in line at Timmy's, and across the room there was this lady that had this intricate something on her neck.
Her name was Brianna.
A necklace? What was it? I pointed it out to Cliffy, and then when we got our drinks, Cliff's like, come with me, and we go and start chatting and learning about this Celtic tattoo and its meaning and having a great conversation. Total complete stranger that turned out to be a friend that we hadn't
met yet. I think I hadn't met yet. Yeah, exactly, Jeremy. I remember that. And as a matter of fact, she's still on my Facebook page. Her name is Brianna. She's still on my Facebook page, and it was a tattoo that was right at the bottom of the collarbone. It was a round tattoo. Remember, right at the bottom of the collarbone. And it was a great conversation. It was good fun.
Yeah. Leslie Ann does say it is totally doable to put a side straw.
Side straw.
So when you're out on the bike,
she'll be back there.
Woo, this is a great
She'll
ride.
be back there going, yeah, give him out, Cliff.
Come on, can we go faster on this thing?
Oh my goodness me, that's awesome. So let's just back up a moment here, right? So we can definitely do the guest thing. We can definitely do the live thing. We can definitely do the topic thing. We can definitely do all of that because it's all within our grasp. Bill and I would have probably very little trouble getting guests to be able to come and chat and all that sort of stuff. But sort of the key thing is right now, given the viewership we have, is it going to make a difference what we do if we start to invite guests?
That's the thing. Will that grow? Does that? Are we going to get more viewers?
Is that going to translate to growth? Because I don't mind talking to 15 people a week or whatever it is that show up on a week. I don't mind that. It's fun to get together and chat. But at the same time, like we've done 180 episodes. That's a lot of episodes, correct? Mm-hmm. So, a few things. First of all, the people that have watched, I'm not talking about the core group here. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about people that we have in the past have watched. Like, for instance, Jessie Tom.
Right.
She used to come and watch, and then she disappeared. Mm-hmm. I don't think she ever shared this podcast with anybody. Mm-hmm. I don't think she ever helped promote it in any way at all. Mm-hmm. And she left. So my question is, why? Mm-hmm. Right? Why would she? And then a few other people have had the same thing. They were there, they showed up, they enjoyed it, they conversed with us. Mm-hmm. I don't think they did anything to sort of help us in any way promote it. Mm-hmm. And then they were gone. So that begs the question, why?
Yeah, why?
Right?
Is it because they lost interest in it? Or, again, maybe they got too busy? I do know that Deborah Hughes-Gar teaches pottery on Monday nights.
She teaches pottery on Monday nights, yeah.
So I mean, but I do get it, though. Those people that have been and then they're just gone. You don't know where they went.
So these are the questions, right? So, I mean, if I had an exit poll, I would, we need a little survey,
No, but it would be nice to know, like, did they lose interest in the podcast?
Right.
Was it not engaging enough for them? Like, why did they just leave?
Yeah, or was that Cliff guy just totally annoying? I don't know. It could be it. I could be pretty annoying. I mean,
maybe it's because I've got too many tattoos.
Maybe he's got too many tattoos, yeah.
I think it's Celtic tattoos.
Whoa, hold the phone. I think it's Podlie.
Look at all the people watching tonight.
I think it's Podlie.
Look at all these people that are watching tonight.
Paul is not here, and he's probably not going to watch this podcast. So we can say all kinds of things.
We can.
I blame Podlie. Okay, all those in favor of blaming Podlie, say aye.
Or, as Nicole would have us say,
Saturday!
Oh, Kat's here.
What did Kat say? Kat says, hi Kat, by the way. Hello, Kat.
Oh, sounds like me, how I disappeared and then just tuned in sometimes before LOL.
Yeah, Kat.
Well, you're here with us tonight.
Yeah, should we be doing an exit poll with you? Or a re-entrance poll, perhaps? I don't know.
Yeah. And what Jeremy says, Jeremy, I think it could grow, especially if any guest is telling their people, is also a format that would help. Sorry, the comments are going faster than I can read here. I'd like to... if it's a format, an idea that intrigues me and I'd like to watch, what if too it's a time of day thing? I promised that we would watch almost every episode if it was 1 hour later. So what do you mean 1 hour later?
Yeah, because his kids go to bed at this time.
So you're talking like 9 p.m. kind of thing.
9 to 10, yeah.
Yeah. And it does, and having done Arts Talk before with Cliff, and I used to do Arts Talk on television.
Before,
actually,
yeah.
it was a TV show that I hosted. So that was different because we had a built-in television audience. But when we did it online, after that was the whole thing when Shaw TV shut down production in Edmonton. We all lost our spot and lost the show. So we kept it going online. But even having said that, we would always tell our guests, please, promote the show. Yeah. And a lot of times they did, and it did work for sure.
And I tell you, some of the audiences we had were really quite significant.
Yeah. Jeremy says, it's part of Paulie's contract. Of course we're blaming him.
I agree, Jeremy. I do.
Yeah. Andrew says, maybe send a survey of all your viewers.
Yeah. You know what's funny, Leslie? Jeremy, look at the comment above yours. Leslie Ann says, I always blame Jeremy. Yeah. Would you believe it if I told you that she is 100% truthful when she's saying that? We'll be watching television and the television will go out.
Yeah.
But Jeremy lends us some of his television through a network. Mm-hmm. And when it goes out, it's on Plex, his network. It goes out and Leslie Ann says, I blame Jeremy. Then when we're not watching anything to do with Jeremy...
It's fine.
No, when it goes out, Leslie Ann says, I blame Jeremy. The hockey game went offline for a bit the other day and she goes, I blame Jeremy. even though he has nothing to do with it. So you do get blamed for a lot of things, Jeremy, just so you know.
There you go. Leslie Ann says 9 to 10 is too late.
Yeah, a little bit. It's a little bit late for some people, I must admit.
Andrea says maybe 8:30 to 9:30. And then Jeremy says, what if it was 9 to 10 on a Friday? Well, again, it's hard to say. The issue I think that we run into, especially as it was mentioned earlier, when you get into spring and summer, a lot of people are heading out and, on the weekends.
And Friday night, they're gone after work,
They're
right?
traveling, either heading away for the weekend, or people are going to, if it's nice, they're going to a patio on a Friday night. They're not sitting, to watch a podcast even at 9 to 10. But, a lot of people, we're hitting the long weekend coming up here right away. So, now everybody's that has campers and trailers and all that stuff. Every weekend that they can get out, they're gone on Friday. Right?
Fridays, yeah. And the other thing, I'd just like to throw this out there real quick as well. I watch a lot of YouTube podcasts. It's one of my favorite things to do. And I watch these podcasts. They're not live when I get to watch them. They're not live at all. But then I watch a podcast, like I watch this one podcast called Diary of a CEO. It's very interesting. It's very cool. I like it. It's sometimes 2.5 hours long. But I never watch it live. It's always on YouTube later.
Right.
Now, what about this podcast? Sometimes we get views after the fact.
We do, yeah.
How do we promote maybe after the fact views as opposed to just the live?
Yeah, we've had some shows. One being our show about AI.
Yeah, you said we had 100.
We had well over 100. It was our most watched show ever. It's
Yeah.
like after the fact.
After the
not
fact.
on not during the show. During the show it was just kind of our normal viewership, but after the fact, it just blew up.
Yeah. So that's one thing that I'd like to consider is how do we promote the podcast to be listened to not live, unlive. Later on, and then as that sector of it grows, then the live part of it will grow as well. I'd like to go back a little bit, Bill, because many people are checking in on time and day.
Kat says 8 p.m. is a terrible time.
But why, Kat? But why?
So that was survey. So the times kind of started here when Jeremy mentioned 9, and then Leslie Ann says 9 to 10 is too late.
Too late.
Andrea suggested 8:30 to 9:30. Jeremy said 9 to 10 on a Friday, which we kind of already discussed.
And Kat says 8 is a terrible time. I'd be curious to know, Kat.
Yeah, what time would you prefer, Kat? Like
No. Not only what time would you prefer, but also I'd be curious to kind of know why is 8 p.m. terrible for you? I'd be really interested in knowing that.
Yeah, and how Kat's actually how do people usually promote something like this?
Yeah, I don't know. I've thought about doing some Facebook sponsorship ads, but then, to be honest with you, I wanted to wait for a particularly good podcast, if that makes any sense. We had a couple of really great podcasts, really good, fun, serious topics. I'd love to do a little promo on one of those, maybe. So I don't know. That's a good question, Kat. Really good question.
Nicole says William Kirkland watches Diary of a CEO.
Oh yeah, there you go, William. It's a great show, right?
Yeah.
So I've watched quite a few episodes. That and there's a guy named Tom Bilyeu. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. If you watch Diary of a CEO, you probably heard of Tom Bilyeu. Very good podcast. Same thing. Really, 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 truly good information and good listening.
Leslie Ann says on live. Is that like on dead?
That's right. And Nicole says you guys do a couple of video commercials. You know what, Nicole? Yes, we should. We were doing that with Artstock. We did a couple. Mind you, we talked more about doing them than we actually did, but nonetheless, that is a good thing to do. And then we just promote that, like we can sponsor that on a Facebook sponsorship.
Yeah, you could do that for sure.
And we were gonna do I was gonna do some pictures and stuff like that we can get some social engagement, because in my mind, Kat's on the right track when she says, how do you promote this? We're not doing anything. We're not doing any promotion.
We haven't been, yeah.
So perhaps maybe some new pictures, blah blah blah, some interaction, some Facebook, some social media type engagement might go a long way, right?
I think that probably would. Jeremy says, honestly, I think the growth for after might be less engagement with the audience live, which would make me sad.
Yeah, true.
That's true. You don't have the engagement when you're watching it after, for sure. You're watching the comments that happened during the actual show.
During the actual show, yeah.
So Kat says, for me, 8 p.m. interferes with a family matter every Monday. So by the time I'm available, it's almost always 8:30.
Okay, so it's more personal to you, Kat. I get it. No, I thought maybe you had some wisdom as to why 8 p.m. is bad, like on a sort of a more general way. So yeah, no, I understand. For you personally, it doesn't work. Okay, all right.
Yeah. So, I don't. We're definitely promotion, doing some ads and things like that. We could do for sure to get it out there. I guess time-wise, again, that seems to be the biggest discussion. Everybody's kind of tossing
Talking
different
about
times
time,
at
yeah.
what works best for them
I know
and dates.
about Jeremy and Andrea because at the beginning they were
kids.
watching every show.
Yes.
And then, the time sort of got that 8 o'clock mark, and all of a sudden the kids are being put down, etc. Right? So, okay, so Jeremy says he says, "Ooh, man, hear me out. First hour, it's all you or you and a guest. Chat is way back burner with maybe a curator on chat occasionally. Second hour, the persiflage we know and love with full audience engagement." So you're talking about a 2-hour podcast, Jer?
Yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah. And Nicole says it's 7 p.m. too early. And then Kat says, She says, Kat says,
She's got a possible promotion idea. Say that 5 times fast. But I think I need to do some thinking since it just appeared in my mind. But I have an idea. Okay, well, send it to us, Kat, when you have that idea.
Yeah, either send it to us, Kat, or wait till next podcast and bring it live. However you wish to impart that idea to us, we'll leave it to you, okay? But we'd love to hear it. However you wish to get it to our ears, we would love to hear it.
Andrea says 7 p.m. is too early. William, hard to stay up past 9. I know, William, you have to get up really early in the mornings, I think, for work. So that's why 9 after 9 is pressing it for you. How about 90 minutes? That will really mess with Cliff up the middle, Leslie Ann says.
Leslie Ann says, how about 90 minutes?
Well, we figured it out during the live podcast.
We figured it out.
Yeah.
Because we did 90 minutes for the live podcast, and somebody kept me on track. I think it was Nicole. And welcome in all type of stuff to the middle of the podcast.
And I guess that's the other thing, right? Like, what is too long of a length for a podcast? Because people are busy. If they can make the time to sit down and watch for an hour. And like, if you're watching it after the fact, you have like you said, you're watching Diary of a CEO. If it happens to be 2.5 hours, but you might be able to watch the first hour.
Well, watch it in
take
chunks,
a break and watch it in chunks, right?
Well, when I'm on the treadmill, right? I'll watch because I listen and I don't really need to play the video per se.
Yeah, I can hear the audio.
So when I'm on the treadmill, I mean, generally my treadmill is an hour.
Yeah.
Well, then I get an hour of the podcast, and then the next night I'm on the treadmill. Well, I get the next hour, right?
So, has a live show being that long? Sometimes I think an hour is just right. If you start going over that as a live show, people start to slowly weed off. And,
but here's the issue though, Bill, and I think this is what both Jeremy and Leslie Ann are getting to. See, Leslie Ann says 90 minutes as well.
Yeah.
And Jeremy's talking about 2 hours, maybe going to 90 minutes. But I think maybe what's missing in their comment, which I think their idea is, there are some people that'll catch the beginning half an hour of the podcast.
And some people grab
and
the last
some
half.
people will grab the last half, and then some people will grab the middle half, and some people grab all 3 halves. 3 halves. That's a pretty good trick.
That's pretty good. Leslie Ann says, but you need to leave them wanting more, which 60 minutes is proven.
Right. And that's a great point, Leslie Ann. That's a great point.
William says, if the conversation is good, the time dissolves. Well, we know that.
100% correct, buddy.
We look over at the clock, and all of a sudden we're done, and it feels like you just started, right?
Leslie Ann says maybe you need to test out 90 minutes. Okay. I like all of this. This is great. I love doing the all of these suggestions and stuff. This is really awesome. I really appreciate you guys chiming in. So assuming that we implement some of these things, let's say 90 minutes. Let's say we start at same time 8 o'clock, but then because we're going 90 minutes, now we can engage people like Andrea and Jeremy who are putting the kids to bed.
Right.
And at the same time, for those people that said, well, 9 to 10 is too late, well, maybe we can engage them in the first hour to 9:30.
Right.
So that to me has some merit. Let's discuss it. Secondly, all the sessions that Nicole said, doing a little video, a little banter, a little this, a little that, and then perhaps promoting that on a social media, spending a little money and promoting that on social media, that might help.
Yeah.
And then, of course, people, as they come in, we try and torture them into sharing the podcast and whatnot, right?
Right.
And maybe, just maybe, some of you find wonderful people who are on our side and want to help us and want to support us. Maybe we all decide that, hey, midweek on a Wednesday, we're going to share the last Monday's podcast. And then we share that and say, okay, well, last Monday's podcast was this. Then we have a topic ready, let's say, and we say, and all of us share it and say, okay, last Monday's podcast was this, go listen. Next week's podcast is this topic.
Right.
And maybe all of us all of us who are friendly to us and want to help us, maybe all of us decide we're going to share that on a Thursday night or on a Wednesday night. And perhaps that'll generate something, I don't know.
As well. Kat says, I don't like watching after the fact, not when it's something interactive and calls upon viewers to engage.
Right.
An hour and a half is a nice time, IMO, and an hour go fast. It does, yeah.
Good points, Kat.
Stuff, yeah, it all flies right by.
Yeah, good point. And Jeremy echoed the same point as well about not being as fun if it's an interactive show, not as fun to watch after the fact. And I get that, honestly. The podcasts that I was talking about that I listen to a lot after the fact, it's not like this. It's not a live podcast. It's a podcast that just basically, they're getting information from one person and one person is asking the question.
Yeah. Nicole says, I would love to do a quick live as to why I love watching the podcast. Well, you can, our viewers can do little promos as well if they want to talk
That's
about
fantastic,
it and put it out there for sure.
And I mean, Nicole, it takes nothing. Just put your phone on and, you say, this is why you enjoy the podcast. And we can give you, we could say what the topic was last week. We can tell you what the topic's going to be this week, and you could say, hey, listen, I love watching this podcast, whatever. Monday episode is here, Tuesday, and coming up. And then when you post it, you can put the link to Monday's episode, and then the link to the next episode. So I mean, it's definitely that's cool, right? That's great.
Sure. And Nicole says on Facebook, you don't have to pay. Yeah, you don't have to pay to share the podcast. I think what Cliff was getting at, Nicole's doing like some sponsored ads. Sponsored ads you have to pay for, but yeah, you're right. For sharing a podcast on Facebook, you don't have to pay for that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But some sponsored ads allows you to pick our demographic of audience and pick how many people we want to maybe view it.
Right.
So you might get 600-700 views on an ad, which we haven't gotten before, right? Leslie Ann says, oh, sure, but will you stick to the topic?
Yeah, we talk about a topic, the next topic, but might not stick to it, right?
Yes, we're kind of known for that.
Yeah. And we don't mind any kind of cross-promotion as well, right, Nicole? I'm just speaking my mind here.
Yeah, any of the viewers, if you want to promote.
Yeah, I'm just speaking my mind, and then there you go. Bill just is on my same track of thought. So, Nicole, when you get up there and you say, whatever about the Podlie podcast, the fact of the matter, you can say is, hey, I'm Nicole from Epic Meals, and then you talk about yourself, you talk about the podcast, and then you put all the links below. And then what we'll do is we'll end up sharing that stuff as well, right? On the Podlie podcast page, possibly on the comments in the YouTube page, etc. And we can engage more as well. So that's certainly something that you guys can do, right? So
yeah, no, for sure. So it's just a matter of I don't know if we've come to any. We've had a good discussion here tonight. We're wrapping up here soon, but
but thanks, you guys.
That's what we were hoping.
It's been interesting, right?
To get some more information from you. We've had a few more viewers tonight, which is great.
Yeah. And honestly, like we talk about crashing it, and I'm quite serious about that. If it's not working and if it's not valuable, if it's not a valuable hour, then I'm willing to just say, hey, listen, we give it a shot. It was fun. Sayonara, let's meet for beers every so often. I mean, I'm okay with that too, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. We're not signed to any long-term contracts.
We're not really. That's right. No, I mean, we got a fine print for Podlie where
he has a contract.
Yeah, if he has to back out, there's some definite issues there. But anyway.
So having said all of that, thanks, Nicole. Nicole says you guys are always amazing.
Thanks, Nicole. You're always amazing to show up
as well for being here. Let's talk next Monday really quick, just so our audience knows what's happening. So it is the long weekend Monday. So the reason Paul's not here is because his kids have baseball on Monday night, or his son has baseball. So he has to take his son to baseball on Monday. So because of how that's working, it affects the time for him to be able to get here and do the podcast. So that's why he's not here. Chances are that will probably happen again next Monday as well. Even though
I think it's the long weekend.
It is the long weekend Monday, but I'm wondering, because I know with my grandson, he's playing baseball, and they had a couple of their games rained out right at the top of the season, which means they may end up playing next Monday night to make up for the missed games.
And I think a long weekend, I think we should crash the podcast for next weekend.
I think so anyway. It's the first long weekend. So we probably will not be on next Monday night, just so you know.
Yeah.
But
we won't just go away. Nicole says, no, what'll I do on my Monday nights? We're not just going to disappear. We're going to have the discussion. If we decide to shut it down, we're going to shut it down with everybody knowing. Perhaps even a live broadcast where everybody can get together for some beers when we shut it down. So we're not just going to dump away, okay?
Yeah, so there will still be the odd Monday night that we can't be on, just due to our scheduling. But hey, there you go. All right, everybody. Cliff?
Thank you for being here, you guys. As I always say, I really appreciate you being here. Thanks. And if you happen to for whatever reason, listening and missed the live broadcast.
You can tune in Friday night, soundsugarradio.com, just for the audio at 10 o'clock on Fridays. And then, as we talked, YouTube, Facebook, you can go back, re-watch it, as you said, if you want to.
Yeah.
If that's something that's a better fit for you on the nights that you missed, you can definitely tune back in. Or maybe we had a really good topic and you wanted to go back and re-listen to something because you just maybe missed a part of it and you really wanted to catch it.
And we'll revisit this, guys. This is the first of a few discussions in my mind. I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. All right, everybody. Well, have a great... we'll be back hopefully in a couple of weeks. And we'll go from there. We're excited.
Stay happy.
All right, everybody. We'll see you later.